4 months away, and now it's back to getting in on football and the action of a new UFL. There's a lot to discuss here. Lots of stuff, a relaunch, micropoli, you name it, we got to talk about it. It's episode 110 of the UFL podcast, and it starts right now.
1, 2, 3.
Welcome back, everybody, to the UFL podcast. Zach Kyleman here once again. As always, I could say as always, it's been a minute. Here's Stefan over there. Look at him. He's having the time of his life right now. He's doing everything and anything he wants.
It's been a while, Zachy boy. You know, I figure if we're going to come back and do a show, we got to come back with some style, bring back the vape. Hey, I'm drinking a Shiner.
He wants everybody and everyone to know we're still alive, we're still kicking, and we're still having a good time. But let's just cut to the chase here. As the episode's title definitely says, and I believe this is now about 30 seconds in. I'll give it a few more seconds because YouTube has stupid rules on when you can, say the thing, if you will. So, yeah, that's good. Where the fuck have you been, man? And I think that's a lot of people that we've seen, we have around the UFL's been going on, but we haven't really been on those episodes much until recently. We haven't done episodes since June 27th, according to YouTube and our podcast, and that was to talk AF1. That really wasn't even to talk the league season. We just talked about the Arena Crown and how great that game turned out to be, by the way. A close win for the Firebirds over the Cats in a thriller. But yeah, it's been a lot going on. And I'll cut right over to you with this. A lot of ups and downs and how we have been feeling about this whole thing. And now it's just time. It's just time to talk because this is now all the stuff's out in the open. There's not all the things we were asking questions about over the summer, I think has finally been answered. And now we can just put it all out in the air finally.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you this, Zachy boy. It's been a long journey back to the show. I didn't even talk about this before we jumped on. So you saw me, the last time you saw me was the last glimpse of healthy ref there was until last week. I have been sick. Remember I told you my boss said his wife got pneumonia, and I was like, well, your wife got pneumonia and I'm going to get sick from you. And my whole plan was I'm just going to stand in the sun. And I did. And I didn't burn. I didn't tan at all. I still don't understand how my knees are still tan from the opening weekend of the UFL, but I'm still pasty as ever. And I got home and it was like Monday. I remember I had my weekly call with my team at work, and about halfway through I could feel it. And I was like, uh-oh, here it comes. And I still have a cough. It's mostly gone now. I might cough a little bit. I have been so sick. I powered through. I had no choice but to power through, though, because I have work. And so, work is just insane always. Yesterday, especially. Yesterday we did ATU? We did ATU sometime this week. No, that was 2 days ago.
2 days ago because
that's where I'm at.
It was 2 days ago. But that's also because I'm just going to throw it out there again. I mentioned this before we jumped on here. I think you've been the busiest you've ever been work-wise this year. I know we've talked. You go your job for any intensive purpose. It's a very one season feels like I don't see you. The next it's like, hey, we get to chat a lot. This year it feels like, hey, are you alive at all? I still know you are, and I'm glad I've caught up with you in person during the time we've been away from the show. But this is definitely the busiest I've ever seen you in a professional work setting outside of this show. So it sucks. It sucks. I'll tell you this, for anybody who's young out there, do not grow up or get rich. Just get rich. That's what I should have done a long time ago, Zach. I should have just got rich. Instead, I'm working. Pay off that house. Pay off that car.
Oh, I'm telling you, Zach, I'm so close. So I have about 3 years and 3 months before I think I can make this crazy thing happen. Part of it, so I'll talk about it. We won't talk about all the nitty gritty, but I have, you know me, I have so many sides and each side has a hustle. I am on the DVD VCR game right now. I have been flipping DVD VCR machines, VHS tapes, video games. I am getting it all. Hey, you got a garage sale? I am going to scoop up all your goodies for cheap. Well, I was talking about tech. I don't know if the guys could see it at home, but over here, it's still in the wrapping. I have a PlayStation 3 3D display. I got it for $20 flipping dollars.
Every time you say that price to me, you have to be the luckiest man alive.
With 2 pairs of glasses, too, Zachy boy.
If you are a video game collector in any bit and you follow our channel, you know that the 3D TVs, and especially that one, it ain't worth a salt or worth a damn without the glasses. You can't do anything without the glasses with those. You know, $20, that's $300 TV right there, by the way. That for $20. This man's this man is, you can call him Macklemore. He's been the thrift shop king.
Hell yeah. Now, one thing we have to try when you're out here next time, Zach, is we need to find.
I will be out here.
Good. Well, we're going to talk about that too. Yeah. We're going all in. Don't you worry.
I'm not dropping all of it. I'm being cheeky.
Yeah. So the one thing we need to try though, when you're out here next time, is we need to find one of the 2-player compatible games that utilizes the 3D technology, because you can play. Instead of having split screen, we'll each have a full screen. The glasses basically block off one view and the other view. To me, I know Gran Turismo does it, but I'll find some of the other games that do it. To me, I just have to try that. And nobody else I know is willing to care enough to come and sit in my office and play PlayStation 3 games with a 3D display. But I know you will, Zachy boy.
Oh, you know it. You know it.
Man, I'm so excited. And you know what? Actually, by the time the next UFL season comes around, I think that little Virtual Boy attachment for the Switch 2 is going to be out, and I have to get that. I already have the Virtual Boy in the case, but I'm always so scared to use it.
Stands fragile.
It's brittle. It's scary. Yeah. It's in a case, and if it's in the case, it's in perfect condition. And so unless I had like a case I could put it in, like, you know, when you know how like Jake Paul, when he puts his Charizard on display, he has that bulletproof case. That's what I want if I would ever display my Virtual Boy, something that even if somebody bumped into it, it would stay steady. Hence, I don't have that, and so it sits in its case. Now the Switch version, I will put that all day and night. That breaks, I don't care.
Yeah,
because it's just a piece of plastic that I put my Switch 2 in. But I want it because I like gimmicks and dumb things like that, and I'm old. So hopefully I'll have that by the time you're here next time, and we'll take a trip down memory lane of 3D.
Oh my gosh, yes. No, MotorStorm 3D is the one I hope you have, because that was like the big ticket PS3 game. It felt like with the 3D. I think Uncharted also had it. I think Uncharted 2 had it. So maybe that's another option, you know, but that's more, I guess, to watch it. It's not really co-op, but you know what I'm saying. It's good picks. But yeah, I mean, obviously we'll already be going to Houston anyway, but you know, things have changed with the league if we're talking football. And let's go over all the stuff. That is all we can say. So first off, rest in peace to my Michigan Panthers for now. For now, supposedly. Look, words to me are cheap at this point, but I do hope that execution does play out. Apparently in 2028 is what's rumored. But, you know, rest in peace for now. So this has to go to the sideline. Along with Memphis and as well as San Antonio, which threw a lot of people off guard. We'll talk about those teams going, because we got a lot of us. Both of us need to talk this out. And then you got a whole plethora of things just going on in the span of this past week. 3 new teams, 2 rebrands, multiple different venue changes or new venues. I mean, this is a new UFL. This is not last year's UFL. This is the Mike Rapoli UFL, or as I'm dubbing it, 2.0 or 3.0 if you want to be technical. We're in a brand new league with a reskin. Like, that is as honest to God truth as you can get. Mike is the face, and the rest are really just the financiers at this point. He's the guy leading the charge right now.
Well, I'm still shocked, Zach. The Houston flipping gamblers, of all the things that were on my list of things that were going to happen this year, that wasn't it. We all kind of knew there were changes coming. We had a good idea of what teams may or may not be moving, but we had that little twist right at the end. Our Houston gamblers are going all in, which makes perfect sense, Zachy boy. 12-0. This is why. This is why we haven't met our destiny yet, because we've been waiting for this exact moment. CJ leading the charge, 12-0 under the Houston Gamblers name in a brand new, beautiful stadium. Well, not brand new, but brand new to them, Shell Energy Stadium, which since 2020 was always the stadium. I said, I wish the Roughnecks played there. Now, TDECU is nice. Don't get me wrong. I am going to miss that little VIP room for the club seats. I don't know if we're going to have something like that at Shell Energy Stadium. So I am going to miss little indoor seating and extra little barbecue and things like that. But I am also very excited about Shell Energy because they have shade, Zach.
They do.
You know, the soccer team, they have to play there in the summer, and it's in Houston, so they already had to account for it. Whereas TDECU, generally, it's used in the fall. So if you get a little bit of sun, that's not necessarily a bad thing. In the summer, in the spring, if you will, it depends on the day. Whereas I think Shell Energy is going to provide a nice little atmosphere for all of us Houstonians to go and enjoy. Now, the thing I ask of anybody that is a Roughnecks fan, do not give up on the team because they're the gamblers, because you're going to miss out on going all in.
Well, this is part of this whole discussion now, is we're back to what was 2 years ago, or 2 seasons ago, I guess, where we had which brand stays. And now they made the switch. And I think that's its own conversation in itself. Is we already have, I think, many of our friends that are in your season ticket holder base that, they are diehard Roughnecks brand. They want to keep that. But this is where I'm curious if they would even bend the knee to go back, because one of my issues I've had personally, I don't care for the new logo, because they have, to me, the best version of that logo that they had stored away and already own. There's a few people that disagree with me on that. That's cool, your opinion, but they have what is a fantastic logo design already, and they invested in a new one. So that plays into one, you spent money with a design team to make this. So you have to be okay with throwing away dollars that you had to then go and switch back. The other thing, and I think this is really the bigger conversation, and I think it ties back to why they did this, everything and anything that they could have done wrong to burn the bridge on the Roughnecks brand, they did 2 years ago in the merger and since the merger. Not keeping Wade Phillips, keeping CJ Johnson. And I know, we talk CJ and we talk all the big stuff, but you've seen the results. No playoff berths since Johnson's taken over for the Roughnecks in what has been the continuation, quote unquote. A very mediocre 2024 season that's had, as you remember, and we say this to this day, people in the crowd going, "Where's Wade?" That was the immediate oh shit moment. Was people going, "This isn't the same team," and so I think a lot of that ties back the company running this team, aka older management that's not running the business side now. They made all the mistakes possible along the way to burn that bridge. Now, you can continue this brand at Shell, but as we're going to keep talking, this is being tabbed as almost like we're trying to show this is a new league. We're trying to appease to people. This is brand new. We're not the same UFL. This is new management. And I think one of the easiest ways to say that is, well, it's a new Houston team. This is new in brand. In both, we're not the USFL, we're not the XFL, we're the UFL brand. And I think that's why they did it. They didn't want to be associated with either one, and they're picking the legacy name, which Mike even said in his own press conferences that it's a iconic brand in the Gamblers, And that's what's doing. Now, will this work? There's already like petition sites out there. I'm not sure. But
get those petitions out of here. These guys don't know what they're talking about. Houston Gamblers is a superior brand to the Roughnecks in every way, even the new logo. Now, I'll say this. Old logo is much better. Much, much better. And I even said this on Around the UFL. I don't know if I could really articulate the morning that this news came out, because I first saw it on my phone. It popped up and it mentioning all the teams. I said, oh, it's finally here. And I saw Houston Gamblers, and my body just filled with I don't even know how to explain it. Happiness, excitement, just, I don't know. That's the most amazing feeling I've ever had. And I immediately went online and I said, eat S, F you, just talking all sorts of smack in the Discord, link down below, by the way. And while I'm talking my trash, I finally pull up the press release and I see the logo, and it was like getting punched in the gut as hard as you could. It's like, oh God, all of that excitement and happiness is, I was like, oh God, what is this? Now, after a little bit of time to settle, I'll still say this. It's still the best logo in the UFL. It just could be much, much better. Here's what I don't like about it. Let me just start there. So I work in digital marketing, right? So when I think about logos, I think about, okay, logos have to be presented in many different ways. Big for like your scoreboards on your field, in your print design, things like that. But they also need to be very tiny for things like your scoreboards and like your digital scoreboards online and things like that. And when you have that silhouette of Texas just very daintily on the outside of the logo, when you crunch that down very small, it's going to be hard to tell that it's even there, if you could tell at all.
Sure.
Whereas the original Gamblers logo, it was the best of both worlds. You're using the empty space within the G to give you the silhouette of Texas. You're knocking out 3 birds with one stone, because you also have that beautiful star. What does that beautiful star signify? Well, it signifies the beautiful birthplace of the Houston frickin' Swanga, and that's Houston, Texas. And I mean, it knocks it out of the park. Whereas now you just have a G with a star in it with Texas kind of around it. And I mean, come on now, guys.
That's actually why I'm so upset with it. And I know like some people are like, it's just a design, you'll get over it. Yeah, maybe time softens everything. Okay. Like that's fair. I'm going to be okay with it. However, the whole point, and again, I look at this old one, like this is a graphic designer's dream right here. How do I make a clever logo or a clever icon that identifies with what I'm trying to say? First off, Gamblers, it's a G. Second off, what's inside the G? The state of Texas. What is on the end of the inner part of the G down where the Gulf Coast would be? The goddamn gold star that's Houston. It's perfect. It is a graphic designer's perfect dream. It's an 80s-esque looking one. They did retool it a little bit, but why mess with perfection? And the only thing I can come up with is they don't want to be associated with the USFL. Because this is a new league, no divisions, no XFL, USFL branding, no conferences, new league, our own message. And that's what I finally came to after sitting a day. Why they did this? It's absolutely why they did this. Because they don't want to be associated unless it's a brand that they feel like they can trust, like Birmingham, DC, St. Louis. Everyone else is getting rebrand. Dallas, going back to the Dallas Renegades look, but they're going completely back to what worked in the XFL. The full cowboy logo. Dallas being the Metro, not Arlington, which could be a deal-related thing or not. Who knows? But they're clearly distancing themselves to make it their own message. That's Mike's doing 100% with this. Which, that being said, one way or another, that's who I'm rocking with. So, as on ATU I said, I am a Gamblers fan. However, here's my caveat, Stefan. I will not be rocking the new gear because I love that logo so much. My outfit, this fit is retired, sadly. I'll maybe bring it out for shows, but I'm a Gamblers fan moving forward till the Panthers return. I'm already scouting out and shopping what will probably be, I will look like an 80s Gamblers fan by the time one of these episodes starts coming up later this year. I'm talking like Letterman style jacket, snapback hat with the old school G logo, a shirt with something like that either is from recently or the 80s. I mean, I'm going full old school Gamblers because I love that brand. I love that old brand. But
speaking
I
of,
understand,
you know where you can get some great retro Gamblers gear? Well, we have a link down below in our description over at Royal Retros.
Yes.
Royal Retros, use code USFL podcast because, hey, if you're going Royal Retro, then you got to go retro with us, baby.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, you know what I got my eye on over at Royal Retros is that jacket. They got that satin Gamblers jacket, and I've been having my finger hover over the buy button for a year. And I think now that the comeback is official, I think it's about time. And you know what? I wouldn't be mad if you and I were rocking them. We'll be like, what was the group in Greece? The girls with the pink jackets? That'll be us. The pink satins.
The pink satins.
Is that what they were? I don't even know.
No, there was definitely a different name. I haven't watched Grease in forever, but it was. Are you thinking the pink? Are you? No, you're not. You're thinking Mean Girls.
No.
Wednesdays we wear pink.
Yeah, well, I've never watched Mean Girls, but I know what you're talking about. Hold on, let me see. Grease. This is what people tune in for.
Yeah, clearly. While you're at it, you can keep finding this, but I have not had luck finding the jackets on Royal Retros. I've actually seen them on eBay. I don't know if he sells them anymore.
The pink ladies.
The pink ladies.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, eBay is where it's at, which I'm mad because there was a deal on eBay not too long ago and I didn't do it. And then the price went up and,
yeah, because I've been looking through it, and those things back when it was USFL, he was selling those like crazy to players and fans. But there's still some reasonable ones I can find. Like some of his stuff's online. Like I think I found 2XL for like $40. I'm definitely gonna pick that up. One that's gotten me, and I just while I'm talking the merch, because again, I'm going full old school. That's my favorite logo. If I'm going to be a Gamblers fan, I'm sticking with the USFL branded stuff. Just it's my personal preference. But like one of his hats is on there, and someone's trying to pawn it off as a vintage, like it's the 80s one. $65 for a red built snapback that clearly says the 503 Sports logo inside it. I'm like half tempted to message this guy, going, dude, this is not an 80s hat. Like some of these 80s hats are ridiculous, are hilarious. Like you got like an elastic band Gamblers hat that is with Miller Lite logos on the side from like 1984. I've debated pulling the trigger on that. I'm going to have a fit, but I am a Gamblers fan moving forward. If the law has to die, I'm going to stick with one side of the law if I have to do it.
Isn't it crazy? Ref's law is a mysterious thing, man. I mean, we went so long. It finally got knocked down for one game this season, and it came back with a vengeance. Oh yeah, you're gonna beat me. You're gonna beat Ref's law. No more team. And you know what? It flipped a coin. Not that it even picked my side because it is Ref's law. It flipped a coin, and you know what? It just so happened to land on tails. Why tails for you? Because you got a cat team.
Yeah.
I'm sad though. I was the number one Panthers fan.
No.
And now there's no more Panthers around. There's no more Ref's law. But you know what that means? No more Ref's law. Ref's law is dead. It's gone. That's another reason we haven't gone 12-0. We've always had the forces. CJ's been out there not only fighting the team on the field, but fighting the forces of Ref's law. Now, poof, gone. In an instant, we are playoff ready. Nay, playoff winning team, champion hoisting team. Ref's law has a whole new thing now. 12-0, baby.
We've unlocked the old all in. Double down. We're back to the old school love interest. And now I'm part of it. We're gambling,
I'm so glad
baby.
they brought back all in. If they would have changed all in, I would have.
No, it's all in.
There would have been a problem here.
It's perfect. We're going all in. We're doubling down. That's what we're doing. And hey, you and I got to start matching the level of fandom you have because now's the time. There's no opposing forces anymore. This is here only as a memory right now. I have all the memories. I have to unfortunately move on to better things. And this is what it would have wanted for now until it comes back. If it comes back, it's a NATO clause. I pull that NATO clause, I got to bounce to the other side. That's how it goes.
Remember when people were mad that ATU was like a Panthers podcast? Boy, they're going to miss those days.
Well, now it's Columbus and Houston mostly. Some DC twist, if you will. Fun times. And, it's funny. That's only one of the announcements for teams. We mentioned Dallas. Which I mean, give or take, the logo was the good change. I'm glad that they're fully embracing what most people prefer in that iconic like XFL 2020 Renegade logo. It was the better one. It was the more received and well-messaged brand. The switch to Dallas, I feel it's multi-stage, like almost like because new management. And I feel like we're not having as tight of a knit connection with Arlington anymore, that they wanted the Stalker Stadium so bad that they're like, we'll switch the name, because I mean, Toyota Stadium's not a bad place. Again, it's an MLS quality stadium. It's pretty solid. The layout's pretty nice too. It looks like if you look at photos, it's in Frisco. It's North Texas. So a little different area of the city, but still it's that huge metro. You're still going to get people out there. Yeah, I mean, that's all I got to say for it. I had no problem with the change. It's more of a technicality and a little bit of a brand switch. So
I like it because, I mean, Choctaw was just a mess.
It's an aging
sitting
stadium.
In it.
It's aging.
It had problems, and now I think the move's nice. I really like the move to soccer stadiums. I think that's a really nice fit. It always worked great for DC. Like, even if you get 10,000 people in there, it looks like a hell of a crowd.
Mm-hmm.
And now I think about like Roughnecks in 2020 when we were pulling, when we were 5-0 and pulling like 23,000 people. That would be a sellout at Shell Energy.
Yeah.
Right. Like, so to me, there is a huge benefit to moving to these smaller stadiums for everybody that says, that talks about, the crowds look empty on TV. Well, this will help that. Right. Now, when we look at Now, when we look at the two other new teams, Zach, I'm curious, do you have a preference? Is it, go on.
Well, three. It's three.
Three.
You remember?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. I guess
unless you're trying to exclude one. I mean, look, I'd exclude Columbus just out of the preference of it being Michigan alone. But so like, I think I see the messaging. I agree with you completely. Just two new teams. And that team, the Ohio team, as we'll put it, out there, which if I'm going to be spiteful, I know we could do the Houston, Dallas thing. I know I'm not really in Texas. I'm in Arizona. But no, I'm going to let my spite on the Michigan, Ohio bit go. And that Ohio team out there is existing. But let's look at the three new brands. So I think there's been some all over the place things. You got the Columbus Aviators. You have the Louisville Kings and the Orlando Storm. So the three relocations of teams, three new brands. And from what James Larson has discussed and what we've been hearing and talking about is that, these coaching staffs and the signings, they're just going to relocate them. And basically those teams will start out that way. And then we'll have a new allocation process moving forward on how talent's evaled and then picked and choosed on where to go as seasons begin. So my honest thing, if I'm not talking like my inner Michigan fan here, the Aviators branding's my favorite. I really like it. I think the design for the logo's great. I think the color scheme's pretty solid. The Aviators name ties back to history alone of the Wright brothers. Yes, Dayton, Ohio, but Ohio in general, Columbus being that case out there too. I like it a lot. Beyond that, I'm okay with both the Kings and the Storm. The Kings one, it's hard for me to look past it as another Stallions logo with a crown on it. I know what they're trying to do, but I just can't get over that. Plus, the green seems very clashing for Louisville color scheme. I don't know. I'm so used to seeing red with the Cardinals out there with the college team, but what do I know? The Storm to me are just the Frankfurt Galaxy, but reskinned, or I've seen the Tampa Bay Storm, but reskinned. It's all right. What I do got to give props for, and then I want your 2 cents, and I love this. We had worried on the relocation episode of ATU that would they have the balls to not go to Camping World and do that because it's the easy money. You know, would they actually commit to the soccer stadium bit out there and pull the trigger? And they did. And you know what? That's actually where that's the main like kudos to like, you know, I'm the guy where it's less words, more action on Mike's part. That's the one that actually got me clapping, because I thought they were going to do the easy way out and just be like, you know what? We have an owner that loves Orlando, and not only Mike, we're talking Danny Garcia. You know, we could easily go right back and do this. We have this deal in our hands, as we always keep hearing, these XFL deals that are in these hands. And they took the harder path. They made a new deal. That takes some guts to have to say, you know what? Screw going with the monetary choice. We have to pick the better fan choice. So that's where I leave it at. You know,
well, and technically they did that in Houston as well, right? Because they still had another year at TDECU.
And like Shell Energy, one thing I love about it, and we saw this when we went to the Cougar Stadium where the Roughnecks were playing last year for that first game I went to with you. It's right next to downtown. It's a really good location for that. You know, some decent entertainment and food choices that they built around that, you know, being a more downtown central and like professional venue right there. It's a good location. Like it didn't feel out of the way is what I'm trying to say. Like Houston Stadium, it does not feel like it's direct. It's kind of in downtown, but it's not really.
It's like, off to the side. This is in downtown.
Shell Energy's caddy corner to where old Minute Maid Park's at, or what they call it now. You know,
yeah. It was right there. We went to the baseball game. It was like, it's basically right next door. It's maybe a couple blocks away.
I like the location. It's a good spot. So, but again, I got to give credit. Matching the words with the action. Again, they could have chosen the easy route with the Orlando one. That was the perfect litmus test. They chose Inter & Co. And yes, they're going to be the third tenant in Inter & Co., but it's the necessary step. It's the better stadium. It's the one that makes more sense than what Mike Rapoli keeps talking about. So kudos to him, because they could have not done that, and I would have been sitting here going, wow, shocker. But no, I'm actually shocked, and it's got my attention a little more now.
Yeah. I'll say this. So I agree with you that of the three, and as much as I hate to say this, but Columbus has the best branding. When it comes to, I don't know, Luke was giving us a hard time. Louisville. I don't know. I gotta be from that part of the world, and I'm not. I can barely say my name right. So anyway,
like you're saying the meme city, Louisville.
Oh, anyway. So anyway, that's what they are, because they're not my team. They are Louisville. Thank you, Zach. I'm going to use that going forward. LOL.
Put that in your back pocket. Sometimes I have good names. I'm not the only. You're not the only one that gets the good nicknames on this show.
I like it. So the logo, you know, I think it was Jake that put online. You know, he went into ChatGPT and asked him to mix DraftKings with what other logo? Oh, the Mavericks.
Yeah, Mavericks.
And I mean, it was pretty damn close. I think my bigger. Grief is not the right word. Confusion is maybe not the right word. It just seems strange to have, when you have 8 teams in a league, to have 2 of them have horse logos. Seems just crazy. That's over too many horses. I don't know. I can't even think of the right word of what I'm trying to say there.
There's too many in the stable right now.
There you go. Yeah. Now the green, here's my argument for that. Cause you said you didn't like the green. Here's my argument for that. My 2 things. One, for horsies, they're running on that green little grass.
Yeah, they're on grass.
Louisville's got a lot of that, right? And 2, I look at the Louisville team, Louisville, as Rapoli's vanity team, similar to how the Brahmas were the Rock's vanity team. You got the horse in there. You got the crown on his head because, hey, Rapoli's the king. He's the one that's saving this league. Bada boom. I need to get better with my Rapoli accent because right now he's just like old school Italian plumber. Hey, Gino, give me the pizza. Bring me that UFL. Anyway,
look, you gotta get that New Yorker down. You know what I'm saying?
I'll get there.
I'm walking here. I'm making the decisions here. Okay.
So to me, the green can also be for money, right? Because he's got a lot. He's throwing some bank around.
It is a gambler's sport. The guy, as you said, Mike is, and this is definitely what that vibe is. He's a horse race guy. He is his freaking account is Rapoli Stable. It is half about horse racing business, is where he's posting this from. So like, yeah, I'll be a little not devil's advocate, but I'll try and justify this more on my thoughts on the green. It makes it a better, more unique color palette. You know, it's more visually appealing if you're looking at the list. Like the old list of like the UFL teams, it was like similar to like a lot of complaints with the USFL ones were. Look at all these blues and reds and black and, you know, a little bit of yellow, but no like alternative stuff. And I think like if we're talking like the human like choice and like pick of, we're talking opinion or color palettes, maybe that's where this comes from too. Where it's like, well, maybe we get someone more interested. Maybe they're just a color guy. Maybe they're so casual, they like the color. But there are people that do this too. Where it's like, I like green. I'll pick the green team. I like the green team. That sounds like a parent talking, but like, that's totally something someone would say if
100%.
we're being realistic. So
maybe you're an Eagles fan and you're picking a team. There's no team in Philly. You know what? Maybe you pick the green team for that alone.
What did give me a laugh is, and I don't remember the league this is in, but there's a team in Lexington that's a soccer team. And they also, Lexington SC in the USL. And no shit, Stefan. It's a green horse logo. And I like credit, like I love the city rivalry because I already got people that are like Louisville FC fans. They're like, shut up, because Louisville FC's won like the last 3 games against Lexington FC or SC. But it's funny. They're like, imitation's the serious form of flattery or something like that on Twitter. Like green and everything. But yeah, you know, that was one, definitely feels more like a vanity one. The Storm one, I'm okay. But like,
you know my grief with the Storm?
What's that? You have
Here's
grief
my
with
grief with the Storm. I
your
don't have
grief?
grief with it. Here's my the only thing I have grief with. I get Major Dundon vibes.
Oh, that. Well,
yeah, that. And I'm like, oh no, rich guy, spring football, hurricanes. I just start having nightmares.
I got to grab my holy water and cleanse this show. You're gonna have people in comments like, don't bring that man's name up. Don't bring that evil on this league.
I saw it and I was like, oh, that's how like PTSD I am about spring football. Any little remembrance of like the past of like the graveyard, we've called them.
I think that shows you how generic this logo is, though. Like we have 3 different comps that come to mind right away. 2 of them are already like all 3 of them are football related. One of and funny enough, all 3 are spring football related as well. But like we can even go the Hurricanes in the NHL, like what that looks like too. So it's funny. Like I think that's like it's not like no design is like you should end the world over this type of thing where it's like I need to like bang down the league office over it unless it's offensive. But like it's generic. That's a very generic one. It's pretty safe, but it's something you can get behind enough. You know, orange has been around in the area. That's what I think of, like with the Apollos. The purple's just to kind of differentiate because there's no real purple in any of the leagues last 2 years. You know, it goes back to the color palette thing. You know, we click that color palette box as well. Yeah. So
I like it though. I do like it. Of the 3, it's probably my second favorite. The Kings probably get the third. Just I'm not a green guy either. I'm not a horsey guy. Really it's already.
I mean FTP as well, for God's sake. Like just if you want to talk green on too, like I can keep going. You know, but got those new markets, new revamped brands as well. I did see someone say that they touched up the Battlehawks logo, like they removed a wing and shortened the sword. Which
I heard. One feather's gone. I haven't dived in that much to tell, but it is weird because every time they've rebranded the logos, the Battlehawks logo has gotten tweaked each time.
They always tweak.
It's the one that doesn't need to be tweaked at all. It's fine.
I don't know what the problem with the sword was. It's like, well, it's what is it too tall? Was the logo too tall? Was the issue?
Who knows, Zach? Who knows?
Oh, that's funny. But like, I loved it because this is the type of fandom stuff that only something like this would notice. Where it's like, they touched the sword length. It's not the same anymore. I'm just like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that is different. Thanks for pointing that out. I'm gonna remember that now.
Right.
For a few weeks.
Yeah, I know. Well, it's funny because I'll see the old 2020 version of the logo. I'm like, something seems off. I'm like, oh, that's right. It's the old version, but you can't tell really like what you can. It's hard to pinpoint, like even the difference between the 2020 and what the 2023.
Yeah, that's where I'll know if I found my people is if I show up, like for some reason we go back again next year to St. Louis, barring the championship location, and we show up and I have my old like Rock the Dome shirt from 2020, and they're like, well, yeah, there's the old logo. You see, there's not as many feathers, and the sword's like a third of the like 1/3 less the size. Like, oh, this is my people. Yep. These are my people.
Damn straight.
I know where the tailgate lot's at, although we already know, but like we definitely know that.
Yep. So one other thing that came out, so it looks like kickoff. We got at least a date for kickoff. There was a lot of people hoping it was going to get moved up this year, and I think technically it. No, this is about the same.
It's pretty much the same as last year. Yeah.
March 27th, but it does confirm we still have Friday night games. The league's kicking off on a Friday. We were talking about before the show, Zach, it looks like for the following year, 2027, it looks like they're going to be aiming to bring that start date back even earlier, which I think is going to make a lot of people happy. I've heard both sides of the argument, though, so I already know there's going to be a segment that's like, what are they doing? Why are they? Don't you know you need time between the two? Blah, blah, blah. So somebody's going to have something to say. As long as they're playing, you know what? I'm flipping happy. I will say this as a person that has to go to the games. I don't have to, but as a person that goes to the games, I would be fine with an earlier start date because those games get hot in the summer. I will say, well, the Super Bowl is a little bit later now since the last time that they did it right after the Super Bowl.
Right.
So we might be able to avoid even the really cold weather in Houston anyway, because in 2023, right? That's the year the XFL came back. That first game in Houston, it was cold. It was like freezing. And you'd be surprised. It does get cold in Houston. So if they move it up behind, I'm even fine. I honestly don't even mind a cold game. You throw on a couple. I don't know if you've seen the pictures, but I got like a hoodie on, a sweater under that, my jersey, and a ref shirt on. I just layered up, man. I was Gucci, and you have a couple beers, whatever weather.
Mr. Cold-blooded over here.
Yeah,
of all people.
I know. I don't want to. It was horrible. Don't get me wrong, but I layered up. And like I said, a couple beers later, it was okay.
Yeah.
But it was only that first week. After that, then it was like perfect weather. 2020 was like we had perfect weather for those few weeks that we had. But anyway, I'm looking forward to a Friday kickoff. I'm looking forward to a May. Why do I keep saying May? Too many.
May.
Anyway, March. 27th kickoff. What else? Is there anything else? What else is going on with this silly league?
I mean, there's been, I'll be honest with you, it's mostly stuff like you hear at press conferences. If there's one thing we've learned about Mike since he's gotten on, and the more you dig in, man speaks his mind. There's going to be a lot more quotes that are going to be very, maybe not out of context, but more like, I think, there's going to be more word grabby quotes from Mike than I think any other UFL like personality in the last 2 years. That's going to be very off the chest type of stuff is really the deal. So like, for example, like 2027 with the earlier start date, you wouldn't have heard that from like business, like people running the business or previously. They would have talked about like, well, we might look into it. Mike saying straight up, oh, we're going to definitely move it up next year. Like that's a different vibe. So like you're seeing stuff like that from him. I think the biggest piece that came out today as we're talking, and I think something that people have hung on to was he's been doing press conferences for the new teams. So he did Orlando first, then went and did Louisville earlier this week. Yesterday it was. And then today he did Columbus and stopped in. Our James actually was in Columbus and ran into Mike and got a photo with him and talked with him there. And we've seen quotes from other people and personalities on asking him questions. One thing that did come out during this, I think someone asked this question, but they wanted to know about like the development angle of the league, like how he views players or like the the years, or either this or came off the cuff with it. But he basically said out loud, I want players that, I got to find the specific quote, but basically there's a lot of talk now on how he views veterans in terms of like guys that are beyond like 3 years in the league. Here it is. Oh no, that's not it. I'll find it while we're talking. But right now, the big thing is about how long do you think a player should play in this league is the question. You know, should we treat it like the CFL where we have stars in the UFL? Or do we go the pure developmental route? And this is where Mike stands, where we get these guys in the league. If they're not in the NFL soon, we then start looking for the new next cream of the crop, and we start cycling out vets when we can. Like that's the debate right now online. It's interesting because I'm not fully on the developmental to just get new, let go old as quick as possible. But I see the point is what he's trying to say, because they have to compete with, you know, the NFL in some ways for talents, CFL with talents. College football is different nowadays with NIL. I mean, where are you on this, man? Because like I look, in his own, like, I'll put this scenario out here. In this scenario, Luis Perez isn't playing next year. And he just signed on. This would be his 7th season in spring football between all the leagues. And if you're counting XFL in with the UFL years, this would be his 4th year of football under like UFL-esque management, which would kind of be in that threshold in his eyes of, we need to move on from this freaking guy and get someone else in. Where I think a lot of spring fans go, yeah, but this guy's like really good and is like a marketable guy because he plays really well and is like a spring football example of like someone making a career out of it. It's kind of a hard spot.
Yeah. So my take is, you know, I'm a guy that has a team and I support a team and I want my team to win. I want the best players. I don't care if they're right out of high school, and I don't care if they're going into the retirement home. If they can throw a football, catch a football, run with a football, not drop a football, get a touchdown, kick a football, whatever you want to do with a football other than give up points, I want them on my team. And I think the example you used is really good, right? Luis Perez, I mean, he's been around. That's kind of like his shtick. He is the king of spring. And you kind of need people like that in your league to get people to come back, right? So if you're going to have a new roster every 3 years, you know, you're leaving. I always like the term free money, but you're leaving free money on the table because there's guys that inevitably are going to be spring football guys, just like there's guys that are NFL guys and guys that become arena football guys. And because of that, you have a little bit of stability. You have star name recognition for people that are going to come back. I mean, I look at PJ Walker, right? If the XFL never went away and PJ Walker stayed in the XFL and now the UFL, I think they'd be crazy for trying to get, you know, oh, well, he's been in the league too long. Well, he's throwing dimes and doing this and that. And there's other guys that have been around other than Luis Perez that have been around for a couple years too, that like, okay, 3 years is only 3 years. And the talent, yeah, there's a lot of guys trying to get into the league, but if the guy that's been around for 3, 4, 5 years still competes and wins the battle, then put him in the game.
Yeah.
As a coach, I would want that too, right?
I mean, I would want, my take's always been, I want if you're going to advertise to people that are football fans, like you, yes, one of the core missions coaches have said is the development side. But I want winners and I want entertaining football, you know, and I feel like you keep some of these veteran guys on that they get used to their systems and all that. The argument for me has always been less turnover means you have guys that are more antiquated to what they're doing with their coaching staffs and what they want to do with their playbook to where it gets better year over year is my whole thought. And then you bring in the new players, they get in with the vets. It's easier to kind of catch them up. And then you can also learn from those guys because they've been in the NFL scene too. So it gets a double whammy. You know, you're never going to truly get rid of veterans in this space, but I do find it interesting that the comments so far from Mike seem to be, we need to focus more so on the development and get moving on from these life, I guess not to put it in his words, but in my words, lifer type of players, which I don't fully agree with, because like I see the CFL, which I'm going to be honest with you, like the CFL looks at these leagues like the UFL is like in a way competition. It's not the exact time of year as the CFL, but it's talent competition. You're competing for talent if you're looking like international, and you know, they embrace those players. Like there are veteran star CFL guys that they make a career out of it. And you would think if the league gets more and more in depth and stuck around, you know, the union, we're hoping, I believe it's still around, you know, it's going to want to keep things where salaries are going to want to keep up. Development's going to want to be there where you're going to have guys that are coming back. Because here's the truth too. You can talk all you want about development and getting signings in the NFL and not, but you're not getting everyone in. We've seen this already. We know what's going to happen. You're going to get 50 to 70-ish guys a season that'll go to the NFL, they'll get a camp tryout, and they'll get those opportunities for training camp. Most of them are going to get released. You're going to get a very select few that make rosters, and even from that, a very selector few that'll make an impact on the field. Mm-hmm. You know, not everyone's a Cavante Turpin or a Brandon Aubrey or a Jake Bates, you know, right, or Redmond as well. I'll throw him in as well because he's been killing it too at defensive tackle. You know, you're not going to get those guys. So those guys are going to cycle back. And I don't know if that's the best message to be saying, well, you know, like a guy like Donald Payne. No, we need to move on from him. We need to just, you know, fans connect with him, but we just need to get a guy like that out because we need to focus on development first and foremost. And I'm like, you can do both. I just, like, here's another example, and I don't mean to take too much air from you, but this drives me nuts because here's my take on this. I already see this play out in another league I follow that I care about. The IFL does a very similar thing with how they treat veterans. You can only have, and this is last I checked, I don't believe they've ever expanded this beyond. You can only have 7 players on an IFL roster that are veteran status, and that includes either you've played in the NFL, you have had 3 years IFL play. So that's the other qualifier. So think about this. You play 3 years in the IFL. You know, you're a guy that you get those opportunities. You've had the tryouts in other leagues. It just hasn't stuck. But maybe you're close. You know, it's like you just need a little bit more. Or, you know, maybe scouts don't think that way and you still want to play football. The IFL's message in that is, well, we need new talent. And sure, you do need new talent, but they go, we need new talent to the point where we need you to leave. Like, you need to unfortunately, we don't have space for you. You need to get out. And that to me has always rubbed me the wrong way, because there are good lifer players that do want to keep playing, that make the sport fun. So like, while I understand getting new guys in is important, let's not discount like guys that are legitimately good and that maybe could make this where you can market yourself a little bit, which is another problem they haven't done in the last 2 years as the UFL combined. So just, that's my pitch. Like, hey, if you have guys you think are stars, don't find a reason to throw them to the curb because of development and trying to force this development thing to be all of it. You know, let's focus on winning and like also getting new. You can do both, but yeah, good players should stay if they're wanting to have their coaches have them around. That's my message. So just keep that in mind. That's where I'm at today with that whole topic, I guess.
Yep. Yeah, no, I'm with you there. But you know what? Time will tell. I mean, at the end of the day, you just want people that are wanting to play football for you. And pretty much. So you don't really want to be pushing people out the door either. So we'll see how this all plays out. There's still plenty of time to go before the season, and hopefully many more seasons. Anything else on the docket, or did we clear it out? Look at this. We're gone for like 8 years, and we come back, we knock it out in less than an hour. Right? Sign us up.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the most of it. I mean, you got the shop that's going to come back out here in about a month. Or, well, actually, not a month. Well, it says new shop coming in 31 days on the website, so I take that back. But new shop coming. I mean, I think it's just to finish this off. Look, you and I'll put it this way to kind of add on to the theme of, you know, where have you been? You know, we weren't sure what the hell was going to happen. And, you know, I still have questions. I still am not, I'm not where I was like a few years ago, where I'm very high on the optimism and the dopamine rush of, you know, we're here and everything's going up and I see the business plan. I see changes. I see tough love choices being made. And I think there's a person in there that's brash enough to make calls. I just need to keep seeing that. And I'm also maybe you're the same way as me, but last few months has been very standoffish and like, where is this going? You know, like what is the move? Where is the future with this league right now? And I think now that we have some clarity, we can kind of like contextualize, all right, maybe I still want to keep, of course, following. I think the concept's great, but I also have to put myself back a step and go, okay, just keep showing me with things you're doing. Because I've gotten over being told and fed the pipe dream of words and, you know, pressers on things. I've flipped it for any football analysis I do anymore. It's action over words. Talk is cheap. Doing things shows what you're doing and the movement you want to do. So show me actions. I don't care as much about the pressers unless like it's concrete, definitive things being said. No more floating up idea ball or ideas in the air type of stuff. And that's where I'm at. I'll keep following this, but like I think it just changed how I view the football fandom I have with spring football now. You know, I just know where it's at with this stuff. Or I think we both do.
It's funny, right? When we came into this, we were like fresh-eyed. Even though when we first started this, we had already been into the scene for a couple years. But there were some of the older guys from when we, XFL came back, USFL came back, and they all said, I wouldn't put any much hope in these leagues. And they were also pessimistic about it. And I get it. I get it a little bit, right? But here we are. We're still playing football, right?
Yeah.
And I don't think there was a lot of people that didn't believe. Granted, whatever, one name, two names, four names, 20 names, it's more or less the same thing. Still playing. New ownership group. But you know what? Like you said, Zach, they're doing things. We're seeing the action happen. Now, is it going to make a huge difference? Well, we'll see. I really hope that they stand by their word of hitting the ground and actually doing marketing in these cities, because to me, that's going to be one of the major pieces that ensures that people are going to come to these games. You can't depend on advertisements on TV, Zach. You know how I know this, Zach? Because they did it. They put ads on TV during the NFL, during the Super Bowl, during the playoffs, during NASCAR, during golf, during racehorse, during everything you could possibly think of. And it maybe made a dent, but it didn't make a big one. So you know what? I think when we saw in 2020, when they were on the ground everywhere, a lot, people were at those games. So I want to see it. I hope to see it. I think you kind of need to do it, especially in these new markets. You do need to do it in Houston. We saw last year in Houston.
You know what? I can't leave this episode with saying one thing. I feel validated. Mike Rapoli, this is the last thing I'll tell him. And this is my next, okay, let's see you do this in like action over words. This man is on multiple times in our account saying, we fumbled the ball on the local marketing end. And I went, hello. Yeah. Like every account. And I said this on my Twitter account that I posted this with the, someone going, and someone, I knew this was going to happen when Birmingham announced they were going to Protective Stadium again. There's more pressure than ever to sell tickets here. Guys, we as fans need to get out here. And I instantly said, hey, for the last freaking time, it's not, the business has to sell you to go buy these tickets. Even Mike Rapoli now, the man leading the freaking business ops of the league, has said they screwed this up the last 2 years. If that doesn't tell you enough that you need to start critiquing the league on how they operate their business, I don't know what to say anymore. And I even put this as quote, and I would do this, I would institutionalize myself if I have to go through another year of fans being okay with businesses running their business like garbage. So that is my next crusade is, okay, this man's on record now saying, we screwed up local marketing and grassroots efforts. Great. I hope you actually do what needs to be done. I know this is a weird thing to put at the end to be angry about, but I wasn't going to leave this episode without it because I have been sitting here for 3 years now, maybe 3 or more, honestly, of people going, grassroots marketing. That's clutching pearls. No, it's not. That's sports business 101, you idiots. And I don't even mean to be this. I don't even mean to sound like it's like, why are you so angry about this? Because all of you act like we can just sit on social media and just everyone's just going to buy tickets without being in my states. NFL teams do this stuff. The fact that the UFL didn't do it for 2 years and everyone was okay with it is crazy. It's crazy. And this is coming from us talking to ticketing people that we know in the business as well. Talking to freaking season ticket holders that also get pissed when their teams don't do things in their city. Stop telling me that it's okay to do nothing in a city and act like people should just come out and support something blind. That's not how business works. You guys can't just force people and tell people that it's your fault that the business didn't do its job. This is the last time I want to hear about this because now it's on record they didn't do their job. They said it. They said the quiet part out loud. There's no more argument for this. The business fucked up. That's the simple part of this, guys. I hope to never hear from this again about this because it's their fault. They have to convince you to buy tickets, not you. You have to be convinced to buy the tickets. That's how sports works. And the fact that there's people that even I know that cover the sport and say, I don't understand. Why is it the business's responsibility? It is the business's responsibility. You're supposed to advertise to get people to buy your product. What the hell are you talking about?
But this is spring football, Zach. People are just going to show up. Don't you know that? People have been dying for the Houston Gamblers to return.
If I just put thing here, if I just build a store, just a random store, that's it. That's all I had to do. I hope you come in. I hope word of mouth is the only thing that drives customers. No, I would have an advertising strategy. Are you kidding me? Are you crazy? I am so done with people saying that having nothing in market is okay. That's completely, that's bullshit. That is the most bullshit thing I have heard in my life.
I like Gambler Zach because Gambler Zach is fun.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm fired up. This is post Sunshine Rainbow Spring Football Zach. You have what is this, nihilism? I don't even know what to call it anymore. Like you have realist Zach. Zach that has spent several years talking and learning from people in this side of the business, luckily, and from people like Stefan, who gets me people connections I can talk with so I can learn things about how these things run. And the truth is, I'm glad that I'm finally validated for the first time since 2022 that, you have to do that stuff. You got to do the nitty gritty. You can't be lazy in that department. Thank you, Mike Rapoli. If there's one thing I'm giving you a thumbs up for, you validated the one thing that I felt like I was screaming into the void about. And I went, oh, wow, there is no void. That actually was a problem. Everyone just wanted to act dumb. Yep. So there's that. Yep. Feel free to tell me in the comments I'm wrong, but I'm sorry. The business manager of the league says they screwed this up. So how is that wrong? Is the final thing I have to say. I rest my case. I hope this is the last time I talk about this. I really do. It's the one thing I hope he acts on the most. I really do.
Me too. Especially because I want to go to some fan engagement events and I want to hang out.
I want that. I want my friends in Birmingham who I feel like this vindicates for them for how much they screwed that up. And again, I'll stand on them all day. They screwed that up the last 2 years so bad. And a lot of that ties back to what Mike's talking about too. So this isn't just a league thing, too. This is me also defending Birmingham again because they were direct targets of this stuff. Championships. Yes, you still got to do all this business stuff, guys. Winning games only does so much. But winning game, no, that's not how this works. You know, even if you want me to tie this in, the University of Alabama doesn't just sit around on their hands and expect you to come and buy tickets, even though they're an establishment. You know, you look at the South, the Atlanta Falcons don't just sit around on their hands, guys. The Tennessee Titans don't sit around their hands. Businesses are always operating. Do not act like you have an off season because that's not true.
Yeah.
That's it.
No. And I do hope they do keep more people in the off season next year because those things help. Having ticket people that can answer phones during the off season is a good thing.
Yes. That's what I'm saying. You have people, not only that, this isn't like you're just going out there. Oh, well, we just want Stanley out there. No. Think about the opportunities. You go to events, you got tickets that you can have people buy right there. It's so much easier to sell someone in the moment like that when you can be in front of them. There's the art of having a personal salesman and someone that can sell you that or a concept instead of being online. It's a completely different experience. It's a different skill for those in those sales departments. You need that stuff. This is the last time you need things like this. All sports businesses that are run professionally, whether it's minor league baseball, minor league hockey, professional hockey, football, basketball, you name it, they all run their stuff with a local presence in mind. It's ridiculous that anyone says that that's not the case, because that's simply not true. That's the norm. This is the norm in sports business. So I'm glad so many of us that have been sitting here are vindicated for this. Thank you, Mike. You finally said the loud part out loud. There's the quiet part out loud,
appreciate it.
sir. Thank you.
It's going to be a good ownership. I can feel it already. Fast forward to week 7 and he pulls off a mask and it's Tom Dundon.
Oh my God. Been the most WWE
week 7,
thing.
you say?
The Rock's background. This is the storyline I crafted.
Yeah. Bastards. Anyway. Well, it's good to be back. It's good to be back.
It is nice. I feel juiced up. Hopefully by next episode, I will have some of my new fit. Again, I hate retiring this, but unfortunately, until we maybe see this return, retirement is now necessary for my Panthers gear. So
I'm going to read the future, Zach. Just somehow this is how it's going to happen. When the Panthers do make a return, you see, this is the thing you got to worry about. It's not going to be your Panthers. Right? Because unless they move Mike Nolan. Now, I'm just waiting for them to relocate Houston. So you're just getting ready. And so when Michigan's ready, they move Houston to Michigan. And then I could be the number one Panthers fan again with you by my side.
So this is the start of a beautiful fan experience. It's nice. We're both in the similar boat now. We both can cheer for the same thing.
I know, it's nice. CJ leading the charge. Man, CJ. If they got rid of CJ, I will go nuts.
We'll find out soon.
I will go nuts. No,
soon.
You won't. I talked to him the other day. He said, I'm good.
Oh, well.
No, I didn't actually talk to him.
Hey, I don't know. Knowing you, that might also have been serious.
I say things on this show, and then people are going to be like, oh, my God, he talked to him. He's good. And
wow.
2 days later, I don't know. But
we kept CJ. Oh, my God. Are you serious? I don't know.
Yep.
All in, baby.
Anyway.
Pushing the chips in the table. All in.
We're going all in, dude. It's going to be so good this season. We got to get they better have Houston week 1. They just better. I mean, best team in the league right there. You got to have them at home first week, because I'll be pissed if they play their first game week 2, because I'll be on a cruise. That would really chap my cheeks, Zachy boy, if I don't see the first game there. But anyway, I think that's it. I need to, I haven't eaten today.
What? What is it with you and coming on like recent episodes or recent things we do on this channel saying, I just don't eat. Do you just not?
Well, it's not that I don't eat. It's that I have no time. I've been like the other day when we did ATU, I started my workday at 6 a.m. with meetings and had meetings until like 3 p.m. and then I had to work and then
I only say this because I know your place. You can't walk down the hallway and microwave a dinner and come back and sit down at your desk.
Oh, it's when I'm in the zone. Locked in? Yeah, I'm locked in, dude. And oh my God, I've been dealing with just not problems, but things that use a lot of brain energy. Okay. Like I've been doing a lot of conditional logic to where if you do this thing happens, but multiply it times like 20 to where if you do this, these things happen. But if you do that, these things happen. But if you do this, part of this happens, a part of that. When you're in the zone, you just stay in the zone, because this, like, I'll get a message on Teams and it throws me all off of what I'm doing, let alone of me getting up and going to the kitchen. I can't do it, but we're getting there. I got some leftover pizza in the fridge. I just got to get to it and eat it.
Something I'm going to put out here in this episode. So maybe if for some reason this happens again, we can have everyone clown on me. I still got to ship your earbuds
Yeah.
back to Texas.
We'll get there. I don't use them a whole lot, so I haven't missed them that much. And actually, I got a backup pair of like crappier ones, so even if I did need them, but one day. And worst case, just bring them out here when you come out here next.
No, ideally we'll get this done tomorrow.
Hey,
no,
sign it
who
up.
knows though? I'm hoping. For some reason, mailing things for me, I'm like the worst person at mail. I don't know why. It's just I get lazy with it. So
Me too. This is why the only reason I can do eBay selling is because my wife ships out my packages. If she didn't ship these packages out, I would have the worst feedback on eBay because it would be like, oh, I got to mail. I can't remember. I had to mail something to somebody once. Remember, it took me like a year.
Mm-hmm.
There was something I had to mail to somebody. I can't remember what it was, but I'm the worst with that crap too. No, so I get it. We'll get there. Yep.
Well,
so you want to close this out?
yeah. Final things right here. Hey, if you're tuning in, it's a new day in the UFL. It's a new version of the UFL. And we're still along for the ride, it looks like. Even now, more so now that we both have a team that we're going to be allianced with in the Houston Gamblers. Want to follow along with us? Check us out at UFL Podcast. Hopefully should be a little more active now that we're we know what's going on. We know the direction we see, and now we can kind of get back to talking on a more regular basis and things like that. UFL Podcast on your favorite social platform, Facebook, Insta, YouTube, obviously. Subscribe there. Click the bell. Builds morale, not only for you, but for us too. Always click that bell, man. And if you are tuning in for future episodes, you're going to be reminded every single time. That'll help us. Also, by the way, if you haven't done this by now, and honestly, given that we're broadcasting these more and more around the UFL, go check out the guys over there. James Larson and crew, obviously hanging out. Ducky and company. It's good. We sometimes show up, sometimes we don't. Just really depends on the schedule anymore for us. Otherwise, you can definitely get us on this show, which hopefully will be a little more regular moving forward now that we're kind of getting the swing of things again. And yeah, that's about it. That's really all I got. At US code USFL Podcast on RoyalRetros.com. Save 10% off on your order on there for official UFL gear, AF1 gear, retro football gear, basketball, Negro League, baseball, you name it. A lot of great retro stuff on there, and you get to support the show and channel through that while supporting a excellent company that does a lot of great work for smaller level and alternative sports leagues. So definitely check those guys out. And yeah, that's about it. I'm Zach. He's the ref. Catch you for episode 111 soon enough. Have a good one, everyone.